Alright, hey guys, this is the old fourth hole again. Redesigned though, keep in mind. So the fairway is different. Here you see I have a rock driver. And I'm a little hesitant to try to get to the second fairway here. So we're going to do a little bit more cautious approach. I will go, see if I can figure this out. Be right in here, just a little bit of topspin. I need to go at least 10 rings from here. I'm assuming still a little bit of power here. Should, into a headwind, you know, it should really start to check up the ball. I shouldn't really have a threat of running out of fairway here. So all things considered, you know, we should be able to get down here relatively safely. We're going to play this a little bit differently. In case you guys have never seen me lay up into this first fairway, I want you to know that it can be done. For my opponent to beat me here, it will require him getting to the other fairway. Is he even going to try it? It doesn't even look like he's going to even try it. So that is a very difficult win. There's no saying whether one way or the other if he would have made it to the other. But if you choose to lay up, I'm going to at least show you how to potentially get yourself out of trouble, and hopefully, and that's also really well done, especially with no ball guide. It's almost like that guy has some experience doing that here, which I don't usually lay up on this hole. You can see that, you know, in most winds, we'll still be okay. We basically need a headwind, so laying up to this first fairway is not necessarily going to make or break you. If we get a side wind or a tailwind, we can still go for this green. And I want you guys to be fully aware of that. Here we are just going to lay up and just try to get it into good position here. And I'll try to do it here with about 10 rings of play, a little bit of curl just to kind of straighten out that ball guide correction from being a little bit pointed towards the right. So we are just going to try to hit it up here, very aggressive towards the end of the fairway, just to give ourselves the best chance to potentially make this shot. So that's why you see me getting a little aggressive here. The chances of losing to birdie here are very low, unless, you know, well, you never know what that third wind's going to be technically. And here you can see, I hope that my opponent doesn't try for this. There's no way of getting it into that headwind, especially if you don't use a full landscape curl. And so much more can go wrong here than, but you can see how close that he gets even with 10 into the face. You know, and it's just easier to lay back into the fairway here. Especially if, not quite good enough. I need to lay back just a little bit more. I was going to go for the dunk here, and now I'm not going to. So we're going to have to alter the way that we go about doing this a little bit, which I could potentially miss this now. So, you know, one of the things that I always do is I always overplay, especially when I have a side wind. So here you're going to see me play probably at least one per ring. That's at least 10, 11 rings here. Keep in mind that, you know, max club was towards the hole, and you can see I was still one ring light there, and it's just missing on the left edge. You know, we got a very tough win there, a very tough situation, but you know, we at least give ourselves, in most circumstances, a 60-70% chance of being able to make that. At the low end, that was basically the toughest win we could have got. Same with this one. This is the toughest side win that you can get, and as you can see, it is very massive too. So when you're going about trying to estimate how many rings to play, it's a very challenging shot to try to figure this one out and actually get this one. And there you can see just a little bit too much of an overplay. Very, very difficult thing to get the precise adjustment down. And more times than not, you know, it's going to be par in that situation. But I really recommend, you know, putting it into the fairway. And had I left that back 2 yards or had a katana on, then I very well could have just thorned that in and easily taken away a birdie as well. It's a lot easier to play a thorn dunk than it is to you know, have to do the shot that we just ended up doing there. The shot that I made was very questionable, and it's going to take some practice. You can see that even though the hole was max ring adjustment, I still played max at 3/4 club because it was such a side wind and the wind effects were so strong that it's just something that I needed to do. So here you're going to see me use maybe, you know, half a bar of topspin here. What I usually do on this hole is about 20% extra wind. Now I might just overplay that just slightly in this situation, so maybe just beyond 6 rings here for my wind adjustment, and hopefully, you know, into this headwind here. Let's see if I can't get this too bad. It looks like I'm going to underplay the wind just slightly. It looks like I even got it in just a little bit hotter than I wanted, so I'm going to be about 1.75. Not bad overall, but I'd like to, you know, tighten that up just a little bit. It's susceptible to being beat, especially once you've shown your opponent exactly where you aimed. But it looks like, you know, my opponent's going to need to do this a little bit differently to pull this off because he's using more topspin than me. So he's going to have a different land zone than me if he's going to beat me, because his ball's going to come in hotter than mine. Let's just see how this plays out. And here you can see, just like I was mentioning, that it's coming in just a little bit hotter, but he did also land it just a tiny bit shorter, but it's just outside of my ball. So definitely do be aware of that, and you know, try to have you know, use your opponent's shots to hopefully the best of your advantage. If you see your opponent do something, it's probably best to more than anything just try to, you know, have your own shot in mind, but at least spin wise try to pay attention. Because if you were to model my land zone and just kind of alter the backspin, just a little bit less topspin, it would have came in and landed and stopped pin high and would have been able to sneak out a win there. So just something to keep in mind, and good luck there with that 4th hole. That's yet another perspective that you guys have yet to see, and you know, next time I would assume that if I had to play it that way, that I might be able to sneak out a win there. But at the same time, you know, we have the opportunity to still get to the green from that first fairway. If not a lot of guys know that, so it's just something to you know, keep in mind. And you know, good luck there, and catch you guys next time.